Chapter 61, Valoria Pav. As I stood with my newfound family, I reflected on the whirlwind of events that had brought me to this moment. Watching father and uncle interact, I saw the deep bond between them, an unspoken understanding and camaraderie that only brothers could share. Their playful bickering was endearing, a testament to the strength and warmth of their relationship. Father, the great storm dragon, was incredibly caring and awkwardly sincere. His clumsy attempts to reassure me were filled with genuine warmth, and his desire for me to feel safe and loved touched my heart deeply. Uncle Rimuru, the anchor of this family, provided stability with his protective and guiding nature. His light-hearted teasing of father showed a side of him that was both playful and wise, making everyone feel at ease and truly welcome. Aunt Seal and Aunt Shizu, Uncle Rimuru's wives, were pillars of grace and kindness. Aunt Seal's gentle touch as she granted me a unique skill symbolized her acceptance, love, and blessings toward me. Aunt Shizu's calm and composed demeanor, paired with her warm smile, offered a comforting presence. Both of them made me feel cherished and supported. Elder sister Milam's exuberant introduction initially surprised me, but her infectious energy quickly drew me in, and her enthusiastic hug broke the ice. With her, I knew every day would be filled with laughter and adventure. As I looked around at my family, the initial awkwardness and uncertainty faded, replaced by a growing confidence and excitement for the future. I was no longer alone, I had a family that cared for me and would stand by me through everything. As we walked toward the city, I felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. The prospect of having a family was unlike anything I had ever imagined, with each member bringing their unique energy and love, creating a harmonious balance that made me feel at home. With a glance at my new home, I stepped forward, ready to embrace this new beginning with open arms and a hopeful heart. The journey ahead is unknown, but with everyone by my side, especially father's guidance and support, I knew I could face anything. The future looked bright, and I am ready to discover it, one step at a time, just as father had said. While I thought about this, my mind started to drift back to my first interaction with father. His pride in me, his acceptance, and the bond we were forming meant everything to me. I wanted to make him proud and live up to the potential he saw in me. More than that, I wanted to be a part of this family and contribute to the love and strength they had shown me. Father had said, trying to reassure me, "You don't need to fear anything. I am here for you, we are here for you, always. I know this might be overwhelming, but we are family." His words, though surprising coming from someone with his reputation, were filled with love and a desire to protect. "I understand, Father. I will do my best to live up to your expectations," I had replied, my voice steadying as I felt the support of everyone around me. It's not about living up to expectations. It's about growing, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself. We are family, and that means we will face everything together. This is just the beginning of a beautiful journey, Father had said, stepping closer with a soft smile. His words were genuine and filled with warmth. In that moment, I felt a warmth spreading through me, a sense of belonging I had never known before. Gathering some courage, I took a tentative step before closing the distance and embracing father. His arms wrapped around me gently, holding me close. That embrace was the best thing I had ever felt. I felt safe, protected, and as if nothing in this world could harm me anymore. It was as if there was someone who would save me from anything and everything, no matter what, and that being is my father. That was the final push that made me realize he was my one and only father. "That's my girl. I'll make you the happiest girl in the world," he murmured, his strong arms enveloping me in a protective embrace. I don't know why or how, but an unknown energy spread through my core, filling me with happiness. I couldn't think of anything besides the words that father had said. While still in father's embrace, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Uncle Rimuru watching us with a warm and satisfied smile. "Nice to meet you, Valoria. I am Rimuru, Rimuru Tempest. And I'm the brother of this good-for-nothing idiot, your father," he said, introducing himself while simultaneously teasing father. At first, I didn't understand what uncle meant by that, and for some reason, I was getting angry at him for saying it. Still, I kept my calm and observed father's reaction. Surprisingly, father wasn't offended by it. Rather, his previous expression disappeared, and he started acting like someone entirely new. For a moment, I was baffled by how father's demeanor changed so quickly, but soon I realized that this was just their way of showing affection toward each other. Their bond was built on mutual respect and deep familial love, expressed through playful banter. Seeing this dynamic helped me understand the depth of their relationship. Father and uncle had a unique way of communicating that reinforced their bond rather than undermining it. As I watched them, my initial anger faded away, and I unknowingly started to enjoy their bickering. It was comforting to see that even with their immense power and responsibilities, they could still share light-hearted moments. This realization made me feel even more at home. Nice to meet you too, Uncle Rimuru, I replied while still giggling as I watched Father complain about Uncle Rimuru's teasing. It was funny and interesting to see them interact this way. Don't mind him, he's always too carefree and goofy. If he does something that upsets you, whether intentionally or unintentionally, give him a good scolding or just come to me, and I'll take care of him, Uncle Rimuru said, making me feel more at ease. His reassurance was comforting, although I didn't think Father would do anything of that sort. Still, I was very happy to hear Uncle Rimuru's support and care for me. You, Rimuru, why are you breaking my cool image and telling this to her? Father said, ready to pounce on Uncle Rimuru. It was quite funny to see, and these moments made me realize that this is what it means to be a family. See, Valoria, that's what I'm talking about, Uncle Rimuru said, pointing toward Father. I was surprised because I hadn't even noticed when Uncle Rimuru appeared beside me until he spoke. Truthfully, it was a little scary at first. When I experienced that, I was a bit afraid and uneasy of Uncle, but that fear and uneasiness quickly faded away as I listened to Uncle's next words. But he is a good person, so he'll take good care of you. So don't worry, and we are here too, he said in a very warm voice. As I heard his voice, every word felt true, and in that moment, I realized the bond between them was too deep for me to fully understand. So, at that time, I simply replied, knowing that what Uncle Rimuru said was true. I am not worried about anything, Uncle Rimuru, I softly replied, watching the interaction between my father and uncle. Their bond was indeed profound, and it made me feel even more secure and happy to be part of this family. While they were talking, Uncle suddenly stopped teasing Father and approached me. Well, let's leave him be and move ahead. Here she is, my wife, Seal Tempest, he said. Introducing Aunt Seal. Hello, Aunt Seal, obviously, I greeted her. Nice to meet you, Valoria. As Master has said, I'm Seal Tempest, Master's wife. I'm glad to see you joining our family, Valoria. You have great potential, Aunt Seal introduced herself, her voice soft and warm. For a moment, I felt confused as to why Aunt Seal referred to Uncle Rimuru as Master, but I let it go. Ever since I gained consciousness, my own ego, and will, for some unknown reasons, I have had a basic knowledge of the world and a fundamental understanding of how this world works and its laws. From that knowledge, I know that normally a wife refers to her husband by his name, honorifics, or affectionate terms. That's why I couldn't understand why Aunt Seal referred to Uncle Rimuru as Master, despite being his wife. After thinking about it briefly, I couldn't comprehend this, so I decided to set it aside for later and focus on the current situation. Take this as a gift from your aunt, Aunt Seal said, interrupting my thoughts. While I was still processing, she approached me and gently touched my forehead, granting me a unique skill. In that moment, an abnormal amount of knowledge flooded into my head, not just about my new skill, but also extraordinary information about the world that only a few individuals are aware of. Thanks, Aunt Seal, I exclaimed impulsively, overwhelmed with gratitude. I gave Aunt Seal a sudden hug, which she warmly returned. How about this? For the extra information that I've given you, let's agree that you didn't think of anything just now, and let's avoid dwelling on whatever you were thinking, okay? While I was still in her embrace, Aunt Seal whispered to me. It wasn't a proposition but rather a command, and her voice was unnervingly sweet, sending shivers down my spine and causing me to abandon all previous thoughts. I still don't understand how she knows what I was thinking, but the fact that she is aware is itself terrifying. And here, this is my second wife, Shizu Tempest, Uncle Rimuru said, interrupting my various thoughts as he introduced Aunt Shizu. Welcome, Valoria, I'm Shizu. It's wonderful to have you with us, Aunt Shizu introduced herself in a soft and appreciative voice. Her demeanor was calm and composed, and she smiled gently. Her warm greetings and gentle demeanor overwhelmed me with a sense of belonging that radiated from everyone. In that moment, all previous thoughts and uncertainties about starting this new life disappeared. I looked around at the group, who were chatting happily. Now they were my new family, and that made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. Thank you, everyone. I'm truly honored to be part of this family. I will do my best to live up to all of your expectations, I said, letting my heart guide my words. My voice was filled with sincerity. I had expected laughter and them waving away my worries, but I hadn't expected all of them to be quiet. As the silence continued, I grew nervous. With each passing second, my nervousness increased, and I started to think that I had said something weird that I shouldn't have. But at that moment, Father placed a hand on my shoulder, beaming with pride. You don't have to worry about expectations, Valoria. Just be yourself and grow at your own pace. And if you need anything, just ask for it, he said with such warmth that all my previous nervousness vanished in an instant. I felt foolish for becoming nervous for a reason like that. Our interaction continued with more friendly exchanges, laughter, and deepening bonds. I felt all my previous nervousness, uneasiness, and awkwardness fading away, replaced by newfound confidence and excitement for the future. As we started to head toward the city, I looked around at my family and felt truly welcomed and at home. Watching Father and Uncle Rimuru, I realized that their relationship was built on trust, love, and a shared history that made them strong. I hoped to build similar bonds with each member of my new family. This was the beginning of a beautiful journey, and I felt ready to embrace it with all my heart. As we walked toward the city together, I couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at the new life unfolding before me. Each step brought me closer to a future intertwined with these remarkable individuals who had welcomed me into their lives with open arms. Father and Uncle Rimuru continued their banter, their easy camaraderie a living example of years of shared experiences and unbreakable bonds. Despite their playful arguments, there was an underlying respect and mutual understanding that I admired. It was clear that their relationship wasn't just about being brothers in arms, it was about supporting each other through thick and thin. Aunt Ciel and Aunt Shizu walked alongside us, their presence calming and reassuring. Aunt Ciel's gentle smile and Aunt Shizu's serene demeanor made me feel safe and protected. They exuded a quiet strength that complemented Father and Uncle Rimuru's more exuberant personalities, creating a balanced and harmonious family dynamic. Elder Sister Milam, my energetic and enthusiastic elder sister, chattered excitedly as we walked. Her infectious energy was overwhelming at first, and despite my initial surprise at her spirited greeting, I found myself drawn to her vibrant personality. She had a way of making everything seem possible, and I looked forward to learning more about her, hoping to form a bond similar to Father and Uncle's between us. Aunt Shizu occasionally glanced over at me with a reassuring smile, her eyes warm with understanding. I felt a kinship with her, knowing that she had also come from a different world and found her place among these extraordinary beings. Her calm presence was a source of comfort, reminding me that I was not alone in this journey of life. As we approached the bustling city of Rimuru, I marveled at the sights and sounds around me. The city buzzed with activity, filled with diverse races and creatures going about their daily lives. It was a vibrant tapestry of cultures and traditions, and I couldn't wait to explore every corner. Father placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder, his pride evident in the way he looked at me. Welcome to Rimuru, Valoria. This city is our home, and now it's yours too. We have much to show you and teach you, he said warmly. Uncle Rimuru nodded in agreement with Father's words, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Indeed, Valoria, you'll find that life here is never dull, especially with this bunch and their tales of the greatness of great mighty storm dragon Veldora, he said with a wide grin, clearly trying to stir Father's mood. Surprisingly, Father just ignored him. As we continued our journey into the heart of the capital city Rimuru, I knew that this was just the beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but with the support of these extraordinary beings, I felt ready to face them head-on. Together, we walked into the city, ready to embrace the future and all the possibilities it held. I couldn't wait to see what adventures awaits me and how I would grow alongside these remarkable individuals who had welcomed me into their hearts with open arms. This is my new beginning, and I am eager to make the most of it. Veldora Pav. As I stood on the outskirts of the city, I couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of recent events. At first, the idea of having a child had filled me with unease and reluctance. The notion of being responsible for someone else, especially a child, was daunting. I had always enjoyed my freedom and carefree existence. The prospect of being able to do anything without any restraints was something I cherished. As a manifestation of storm and chaos, I disliked being under someone's control or having to take on responsibilities. I like living my life freely and doing whatever I want, without being tied down by the shackles of something or someone's responsibility. The thought of having a child seemed like a shackle, a responsibility that I wasn't sure I was ready to embrace. It felt like too much of a burden to take on, and it made my thoughts go haywire. However, now that I can think clearly, I can see what is going on and what has happened. A little while ago, I had voiced these concerns to Rimuru as we were walking towards the outskirts of the city, half expecting him to dismiss them with a wave of his hand. While thinking about this, my thoughts slowly shifted to the conversation that Rimuru and I had when we were coming to the outskirts of the city. Flashback. Some time ago. Asterisk. Right now, we are walking towards the outskirts of the city to face the Charybdis. I am still a little uneasy and unsure about this, but now that Rimuru has said it, I have to do this no matter what. While I was having these thoughts, Rimuru looked at me and he seems to understand what I am thinking. Welp, that's not a surprise. He looked at me once more before stopping. Hey ladies, why don't you go ahead a little? We will follow you shortly, he said to the others. Upon hearing this, we all stopped, and Milam looked at him with confusion. Why, bestie, what's the matter? She asked, while clinging to Shizu's arm. Well, there are a few things that I would like to talk to Veldora about, so why don't you ladies go ahead and give us men some space to talk, he calmly said to her. Hey, why, I also want to know what you're going to talk about. We're besties, she said, throwing a tantrum. Such a troublesome kid, she should learn from me how to behave properly like an adult. Well, Milam, bro was about to continue, but Shizu and Seal beat him to it. Milam-chan, let's move ahead. I have something great to tell you, you know, Shizu said, starting to walk again while guiding Milam along. Yeah, and I'll also give you some advice and tips on how to improve that new technique of yours, the one you used against Shizu. It's still in its developing state, right? Seal added, helping Shizu and starting to guide her as well. Really? Then let's go, Milam exclaimed enthusiastically, and with that, they left. Now, only bro and I remained here. So, why did you do this, brother? I asked him, though I had a vague idea. It's about you. Tell me what's on your mind and don't try to hide it, he said, creating a table and chairs for us to sit. Like hell I can hide anything from you. I grumbled under my breath as we sat down on the chairs. Ha ha ha, don't be like that, old man. So, tell me what is it? He said, chuckling lightly, but his voice was unmistakably serious. I took a deep breath, trying to organize my thoughts before sharing them with Rimuru. Rimuru, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. The idea of being responsible for someone else, especially a child, feels overwhelming to me. You see, as a being embodying chaos, I've always valued my freedom above all else. The ability to live without constraints, to do as I please without the burden of obligations, has been integral to my identity. It's what defines me. Being responsible for someone else would fundamentally change that foundation, and I find that thought unsettling. Taking on responsibilities feels like it would restrict that freedom, restricting me to a role that I don't think suits me, I explained earnestly, expressing my thoughts to him. I fear that I won't be able to provide the care and guidance a child needs. It's not just about the practical aspects, it's also about the emotional weight of knowing that another being depends on me. I've lived in environments where I can act impulsively, where my actions have consequences on others, but they don't make impact on my freedom. The thought of having to consider someone else's well-being in every decision, it's difficult, and honestly, I don't believe I am suited for this kind of things, I continued, reflecting on my reluctance to take on this new role. I told him everything, what I feel about this, and more. He listened patiently, his eyes never leaving mine. I see, I am glad that you're able to express yourself clearly. Now it will be easy to talk, he said, taking a sip from a cup. Where the hell did that come from? I understand why you're hesitant. But having a child isn't about losing your freedom, it's about gaining something much more profound. It's about family, about connection. Charybdis is a part of you. She needs you, and you need her more than you realize. Having her won't be a burden on you, trust me, he said, starting to console me. I know that, but I just can't accept all of this. It's too much, I said, finally losing my nerve. Chill, dude, don't get worked up over something like this. You're the storm dragon, great and mighty, the best of the best. Do you think some little responsibility like this can restrain you? He said, his voice as calm as ever. You can't fool me this time, brother. Don't try to boast my ego. We both know this won't work on this subject, I said, regaining my composure. Yes, I need to regain my composure. Remember what I practiced, what I trained for. I need to calm my mind, or else I won't be able to stay in control. And if that happens, I won't be able to utilize that technique to the fullest. Veldora, he sighed and leaned back in his chair, his gaze unwavering. It's natural to feel this way. You're stepping into something completely new, and it's okay to be scared, to feel uneasy, to have uncertainties. But think about it, everything you've faced, all the battles and challenges. This is just another one, and you've always come out stronger, and tackled those challenges head on. So believe me, it won't be that hard, he said. I rubbed my temples, feeling the tension ease slightly. But this isn't a battle I can just fight and win. It's ongoing, and I don't know if I have what it takes to be a good parent, I argued with him. At my words, Rimuru smiled gently. Being a parent isn't about being perfect. It's about being there, showing up, and doing your best. Charybdis doesn't need you to be perfect. In fact, she isn't even aware of anything, she's just a mindless creature. But even so, she needs you to be present. She needs you to guide her, and as her creator, you have to fulfill that role, he said, his voice filled with gentleness and sincerity. I looked at Rimuru, trying to absorb his words. Now that I think about it, his words make sense, but still. You make it sound so simple, but I know it won't be easy. Big brother Veldanava died just by having only one child, I argued with him. It's not supposed to be easy. But nothing worthwhile ever is. The most important things in life are often the hardest. But they are also the most rewarding. Trust me, Veldora, you have what it takes. And you won't be alone in this. You have me, Seal, Shizu, and your friends. We'll support you every step of the way, he said honestly. I felt warmth spread through me at his words. How could I have forgotten the adventures we had in the past and the bonds we share? How foolish of me. And about Velda's death, everything you people know about it is just a half-truth, or rather a cover-up story for the actual truth. But let's not talk about this now. Let's focus on the current situation, he added under his breath, trailing off as if hinting at something important. What did he mean by that? Was it really just a cover-up story? Didn't Big Bro die because his powers went to Milam or something like that? If that's not the truth, then what is it? No, I'm getting off track. I need to focus on the matter at hand. I can ask Rimuru about this later. Thank you, brother. I needed to hear that, I said, expressing my gratitude. Anytime, brother. You're stronger than you think, and you're capable of so much more than you realize. Just take it one step at a time, he continued. But still, that doesn't convince me. The more I think about this, the more my uncertainties grow. But what if I fail her? What if I'm not good enough? I frowned, still uncertain. Rimuru leaned forward, his expression earnest. She's your child, Veldora. She needs you, and you need her, more than you realize. You'll find that being there for her will bring you a kind of freedom you never expected. It's the freedom that comes with love and responsibility, something that can enrich your existence beyond anything you've known, he said in a tender voice. I looked down at my hands, feeling the weight of his words. It's true that this will be a new experience, something I've never known or experienced. But if I think more clearly, I have to take this responsibility at some point in the future, and Rimuru will make sure that I do. So why not take it now instead of waiting? I guess I've always been afraid of being tied down, of losing myself in the process. But what you're saying makes sense. Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong, I said, reflecting on my own thoughts. Now that I'm thinking from this perspective, all of my previous fears and uncertainties seem like byproducts of my overthinking. It was never this difficult in the first place, I realized aloud. Rimuru nodded in understanding. Exactly. It's not about losing yourself. It's about exploring who you are. Think about it, Veldora. You've always thrived on chaos and unpredictability. Raising a child will bring its own kind of chaos, but it's a beautiful chaos. It shapes you, makes you stronger and more complete. It will give you a new identity, a turning point in your life, and believe me, you won't regret taking this responsibility, he said, looking straight into my eyes, his golden gaze staring straight into my soul. I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. The prospect of becoming a Gordian is new, and honestly, it's a little odd, but it's more exciting than anything. As I pondered these thoughts, unknowingly, a small smile formed on my face, which was immediately noticed by Rimuru. He clapped his hands in satisfaction, a proud smile on his face. That's the spirit, brother. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Take it one step at a time, one step at a time. You'll learn and grow together, he said, smiling reassuringly. Hearing this, I felt a surge of determination, and I stood up. Thanks, brother. I needed this talk. I needed to hear that I can do this, I said to him honestly, showing my gratitude. Following me, Rimuru stood up as well, his eyes full of confidence. Anytime, Veldora, that's what brothers are for. Now, we've spent too much time here, so I think we should catch up with them, he said, waving his hand as the table and chairs disappeared just as he had created them. With that conversation ended, we teleported to where the others were. Flashback end. Initially, I had scoffed at the idea of being a guardian, being a parent, reluctant to accept his perspective. Yet, as we continued our conversation, Rimuru's wisdom began to penetrate my defenses. He spoke the joys of being a parent, the strength found in bonds, and the profound fulfillment that came from being there for someone who looked to you for guidance and support. His words resonated deep within my heart in unexpected ways. As we approached the city, my thoughts swirled. I couldn't shake the image of Valoria's bright yellow eyes, so reminiscent of my own, filled with a mixture of awe and hope when she looked at me. I remember her tentative steps towards me, her hesitant embrace, and the warmth that flooded my being as I held her close. In that moment, something changed within me, a protective instinct, a newfound sense of belonging. Perhaps my fatherly instincts kicked in. By the time I realized this feeling, my heart had already softened. It made me want to protect her and make her the happiest girl in the world even more. I glanced at Rimuru, who smiled knowingly. She's your daughter, Veldora. She needs you, just as you need her. Those words lingered as I took a deep breath and stepped forward, embracing Valoria as my own child. In that embrace, I knew I had made the right choice. The bond between us was undeniable, and the fulfillment I felt was unlike anything I had experienced before. It was amazing, wonderful, and, more importantly, it was welcoming. Now, watching Valoria interact with everyone, laughter and joy filling the air, I felt an overwhelming swell of pride and love. Despite my initial reluctance, I had come to embrace my role as a father. With Rimuru and the others by my side, I felt prepared to face any challenges that lay ahead on this road. It had been a while since I felt truly at peace. The chaos that was always within my core seemed to have calmed down a little. Perhaps it's because now I have a reason. I had accepted my place as Valoria's father, and with that acceptance came a renewed sense of purpose and happiness. I smiled as I watched Valoria, my heart brimming with love and determination. This is the start of a new beginning, and I am ready to embrace it wholeheartedly. To be continued.